This week, episode 285 of Stogie Geeks. I am in studio. I am your host, Joe Hozempa. We have Russ from Naples making a in-studio appearance. Second segment will be Sticks of the Week. But right now, we are about to interview Rick Alvarez, the Director of Brand Marketing for Altadis, and he is joined by Eddy Guerra. He's a Senior Brand Manager for Altadis right here on this edition of the Stogie Geeks Show.
This is a Security Weekly production. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show where cigars burn slow, ashes fall fast, and cocktails flow steady. It's the Stogie Geek Show. Welcome, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. Joe and I are already silly.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Hozempa, a.k.a. Joe Hollywood, is here with me in studio.
I'm fired up.
Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo.
Welcome back to Stogie Geeks. I am your host, Joe Hozempa. I am in studio with Mr. Russ Evers. How are you, sir?
Everybody, how you doing? I'm finally making the big couch. Carson called me on.
Look at you. Look at you. Here, couple of Stogie Geeks episodes, and then poof, you come up to Rhode Island for a quick visit.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
nice to join you. We have an interview to do, and we're going to jump right into it.
Let's go.
Over there. We have Rick Alvarez. He's the Director of Brand Marketing for Altadis, and he is joined by Eddy Guerra, who's also the Senior Brand Manager for Altadis. For you Stogie Geeks listeners at home, you can go to stogiegeeks.com, type in episode 205, and Eddy is no stranger to Stogie Geeks. He was previously interviewed. But Rick, welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for joining us. We're going to get right into it. How was IPCPR for you guys?
IPCPR was really, really good for us. We actually had a banner show. We had probably one of the better shows that we've had in a very long time. We featured a lot of new products that we are really excited about. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about them if we could. Mm-hmm. We had a really good turnout. Our sales staff was really churning and burning, and we just had a fantastic show. So now we are ramping up and getting ready for 2019 to start introducing and putting some of those new launches out into the market. So we're really excited to get those out there, and we're working really hard to finish up calendar 18 and really start working towards 2019 in full force.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I know a lot. When we've asked some of our guests post IBCPR how it was, in my opinion, I mean, there's been some kind of mixed feelings. Some brands did very well. Some brands kind of said it was a little bit flat. The ones that said it was flat, I says, well, you got to beef up your booth, right? You really got to have the booth kind of work for you, and make it so that, number one, it's approachable, and number two, people want to kind of be informed as to what's going on within the company. So with the time that we have, why don't you take us through what you guys are launching and what you've launched, and talk a little bit about some of the new products that Altadis has to offer.
I'll jump in a little bit on that. We had a lot of great launches into our core brands this year. So we released the new Montecristo Nicaragua, which was kind of a big deal because it's the first time we released something into our Montecristo core line in, I'd like to say, 11 years. And also another great thing is it's a full completion of what we believe is the scope of tobacco right now. We now have stuff from all the countries there. We have everything from mild to medium to full. And the latest one, Nicaragua, it's a powerhouse. It's great tobacco. And we produced a cigar with AJ Fernandez. When we're really happy with the outcome. What's really nice about it is a full cigar, but it doesn't feel full. It's so well balanced, so well aged. Cigar almost comes off as a medium, but full flavored. And it proved itself at the show. It took off. People fell in love with it. It's a beautiful, elegant smoke. Should be hitting the market sometime soon.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also came out with a brand new A. Chapman, the Chapman Grupo Maestros Connecticut, which was it was a great follow-up to last year's A. Chapman Nicaragua with AJ Fernandez. That was something hard to follow. It went phenomenal the year before, and we wanted to work and bring something that would deliver just as powerful. So as we did a collaboration last year with AJ Fernandez, we felt like we had to do something where we really got to highlight our cigar makers. So as you know, once a year we come out with the Grupo Maestros limited edition, and that's really the only time people get to smoke their cigars that are highlighted, and they're limited editions. Once they come in, they get smoked, they're out. You never see them again. This is the first time there's a Grupo Maestros that's a full production, ongoing. It's there forever.
Yeah, that's actually great. You brought up a good point with the Maestro cigars. They're not available within all the shops. Is there like a certain criteria for different shops? Because I've actually went on a treasure hunt probably, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, when that whole Maestros things started, that I know of. And forgive me if it's been longer. Has it been longer?
Well, this was the fourth version, fourth iteration of the Grupo de Maestros. So this would be number 4, batch number 4.
Batch number 4. So we're going, what, 6 years, 8 years, 6 years?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years. Okay, time flies when you're having, I guess, not that much fun in that. In there, and then I remember when they came out, and I was searching, and some of the places within the Northeast, different retailers didn't have their e-commerce up to speed. I couldn't get it and stuff like that. So, what can you kind of elaborate on that process and why you decided to make it, all encompassing now for the fourth batch?
The thing is they truly are limited. When we say limited, it's limited. A lot of people say when they come out with products, oh, this is limited edition, but you can find it in every shop. And that's really not the case here. There is limited tobacco that we work with to come out with these products. They are rare. So not many boxes are available, and they all sell out within like the first day of the show. So when you have, 500 boxes out there, there's well more than, there's thousands of shops. So they're kind of hard to find. And they also, you have some major key accounts, big players that come in and they buy heavy.
Sure.
Because they are cigars that everybody wants. So
right. There's no criteria, I think, for who can buy them. I think, like Eddie said, it's just dependent on who comes in and buys them and where throughout the country they'd be available.
Yep.
So we want them available, obviously, to as many people that want them. But at the same time, they are rare and limited. So there has to be a cap on how many we produce and how many are offered.
Yeah.
So it's a balance between the two.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that for sure. One of the things that business methodology that you just described to me, and, I guess I'm going to not overstep my bounds towards you, but overstep my bounds towards IBC PR. That's what IBC PR used to be. Like, retailers used to be able to go and get exclusive deals for their retail shop and exclusive purchases, and somehow, and I don't know if it's with the Boutique Revolution or whatever methodology, I'm not privy to that information, but I really appreciate the fact that hey, if you show up to IBC PR and you want to do business with Altadis, you're going to get this premium product to offer to your customers.
And it really does sell rather quickly. It's almost like you have to show up in their booth in the first day. Most people do. I mean, we are Altadis. It's technically the first stop everybody makes, but they go quick. And that has a lot to do with one of the reasons on why this new Connecticut came about. We wanted something that people could have always year round in every shop. You could find a Grupo Maestro smoke that's available for you at a really reasonable price. And it's a really interesting blend because it's not your typical Connecticut. It really is full of flavor and it's got some strength to it. So the Connecticut wrapper really balances that out. A lot of times Connecticut's tend to be a little bit more mild and a little bit more delicate. this is not the case. This is a Connecticut you can have like after a meal and you feel good. You can smoke it after another cigar and your palate can handle it.
Mm. Yeah, so it's going to be available to retailers. It's going to be a lot more readily available, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, it'll be full production. I mean,
Nice.
it'll be as available as all of our other cigars that you'll get year round.
These are
Yes.
national. This is going to be a national ongoing product. And one other launch that I want to talk about, if I may,
Yep.
that we're really excited about on one of our big brands is the Romeo and Julieta 1875 Nicaragua.
Mm.
That was also launched at the show to a lot of fanfare and a lot of excitement. And we actually sold a ton of it at the show. And this is our first Nicaraguan offering within the 1875 line. We felt that the line needed that. It didn't have it in the past. And this is going to target two kinds of consumers. Number one, our core Romeo smoker that's used to that mild cigar, but someone that also is used to smoking Nicaraguan offerings. So we think this is a nice way to bring them into the Romeo franchise. So if you are used to that Nicaraguan flavor profile, you're going to get that from this cigar, but it's not overpowering and it's not super strong. So we're really excited about this introduction and this launch, and it's a nice addition to our Romeo core line. We've also rejuvenated or modernized the packaging a little bit more on this line, and it's something that we're going to do with the entire core line in 2019. But it started with this introduction. So the packaging has been refreshed. It looks a lot more modern, but it's still maintaining the heritage and the brand essence of what Romeo and Julieta is, more of a modern flair. So we're really excited about that. And that is actually already shipped. So it should be in market in the next couple of weeks.
Mm. Wow, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to trying that. I've only had one of the Mastro series. I'd be lying to you if I told you which batch it was there. So, but I've only had one there. It was gifted to me, and that was kind of that. And I'm looking forward to trying the new brands. I love it when, here on Stogie Geeks, I always talk about the classic facings. Obviously, you fit in that, versus the kind of boutique revolution that we're going through now. And I love it when the classic facings really try to keep up with that and really try to say, hey, listen, Romeo and Juliet has been around forever. I know when I owned a cigar shop in the late 90s and early 2000s, we've done well with Romeo and Julieta. A lot of shops still do well with the Altadis lines. Obviously, if you're talking Cubans, pretty much Altadis portfolio comes out of people's mouths. From a consumer perspective, they get one of their products. And, it's one of those things where I love it when it's like, okay, we're going to revamp this brand. I think that's so important, especially with the birth of social media, having social media being a big play, that it's kind of keeping up. Do you have a question?
Right. No, I'm just saying that it is, like, honestly, a classic facing with a new world taste. When you guys are going to Nicaragua and working with AJ, last year, first off, standing ovation with that H. Upman, because it is selling like hotcakes down in Naples, Florida. Yep. And then the other H. Upman Hueso series is fantastic. I can't wait to seek it out. I was monitoring you guys in July. I saw like the Alfa Romeo was at your booth and stuff like that. It was so much hype. Before you even got to the booth, the cigars are going to speak for themselves, and people really should treat themselves and seek out these sticks. What was it like working with AJ? Did he approach you on a second collaboration, or did you guys go to him and say, let's make another masterpiece?
Well, we work with two partners in Nicaragua. We work with AJ and we also work with Plasencia. So, with Plasencia, we did the Romeo 1875. And we also did another product, which we'll touch about later, which is the new aging room Pura Ceba. It's a beautiful cigar. But, we want to have origins in Nicaragua. We think it's very important, especially for the market. And, our two partners, there's only certain people that we could work with that could handle our capability and also at the same time have the quality tobacco and blending skills that we need to fulfill. And AJ is definitely one of those guys. And when he has a beautiful blend that's available and it makes sense, we roll with it. We come out with these products. So
yeah, that's the beauty of the relationship we have with him. I think it works both ways. It's a two-way street. Sometimes he has an idea for something and he brings it to us, and sometimes we have an idea and we go to him. So it works both ways, and it's been a nice collaboration working with him on different projects, and he's been very receptive. Obviously because he's Cuban and he goes back and knows these brands as old traditional Cuban brands, so he has a lot of pride when he talks about working with us and the types of projects that he's working with us on as well.
I was actually fascinated that AJ did a collaboration work with you, because if you rewind at the Q4 or about this time last year, most of the dare I say boutique companies were kind of doing collaboration work with AJ Fernandez. And from a business perspective and a marketing perspective, I have mixed feelings about that, right? It's like, does the boutique latch onto it because they can now get the brand recognition and the market share that AJ has, or does AJ get a chance to penetrate away from the masses and then jump into kind of some of the boutique audience there? And now when you take a brand like Romeo and Julieta, it's like, well, that argument goes away,
yeah,
right? It's like, okay, well, what was the methodology behind that? And maybe, as a Stogie Geek and maybe as a Stogie Geek host, I kind of looked, and a business owner and an entrepreneur where, maybe I looked too deep into that as to the collaboration. But then what I noticed, that collaboration was starting to become a thing. And I'm actually excited that Classic Facings decided to kind of merge together and do collaboration work, because I think that, great minds can people who are successful in their category space, right? I mean, clearly Altadis, very successful in what you do, clearly successful when it comes to market share here in the U.S. market and, elsewhere. It's one of those things where it's like, wow, I wonder what that's going to taste like.
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. Look, at the end of the day, I think we as a company, there's certain flavor profiles and say people who have certain tastes that we want to hit, and we've pretty much proven ourselves in the classic and the whole medium-bodied experience, but the market is dictating. There's a lot of Nicaraguan flavor that people want, and we wanted to fulfill that, and we work with the best and people that can handle that volume. AJ and both Plasencia, I mean, their factories are massive.
Yeah. And I also think that it speaks to the testament of that Nicaraguan tobacco is here to stay within the place. Yeah. And because, I mean, let's face it, Romeo and Julieta, you for years and years and years, Nicaragua wasn't even thought of, and then now all of a sudden now it's like you're starting, and I think it's a really good testament from an industry perspective as to that Nicaragua, because in my opinion, I've always dubbed this as, you have Classic Facings versus the boutique, and then you have the rest of the world versus the Nicaraguan tobacco movement. We can certainly schedule another interview and talk on another level just on that, for sure.
Yeah, I think, good tobacco is just great tobacco, and, you have great tobacco from everywhere, but Nicaragua has a certain profile that people love, and a lot of people say boutique people are going into that. I just think people want great flavor, and I think we really got to see that whole Nicaraguan boom into the, the non-boutique when we did our first collaboration years ago with Plasencia when we did the Montecristo Espada. I mean, that's a monster, and it's not this overpowering, typical full-bodied Nicaraguan. It's just really complex.
It's tasty too. It's very tasty on the palate. The Espada.
That cigar flies.
Yes. Yep.
Denver.
Yeah, I know plenty of shops that do very well with that cigar. Now, I know you're on a time constraint, and I want to respect you for your time. You want to spend a couple minutes on that aging room project as well to kind of update the audience?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. It's the cigar is called Pura Cepa, and basically what that means in Spanish is purebred. And the vision for this cigar comes from Rafael Nodal, who's obviously works with us. He's our head of our product capabilities here at Altadis. And his vision for this cigar was really celebrating the Nicaraguan tobacco. So basically this cigar incorporates tobacco from the 4 major growing regions of Nicaragua. So we're using tobacco from Esteli, Ometepe, particularly Ometepe, the volcanic region of Nicaragua, really gives it that flavor profile that it has. And we featured it at the show. It actually was well received. And, you know, we're really excited about this. It's part of the small batch line within the aging room line, or the aging room brand, if you will. And, you know, it's a great flavored cigar, really provides that Nicaraguan flavor profile. And, you know, we're really excited about it. Urge all your listeners and viewers out there to go give it a try. They will not be disappointed.
Yeah, looking forward to it. You have a final question for them?
Just the comment, like what he's saying is the line that's coming out this year is going to be fantastic. I really are going to urge people to seek this out and really get that new taste that the Upman's going to bring with that extra little boldness, bring it to a medium style. I can't wait to try them. Hopefully have these guys back on and really give them the feedback, because I know that there are going to be some more smash hits, and maybe talk more about the Montecristos. I really love everything that you guys are doing, and this year is very exciting. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. We you know, definitely, Rick, if you could email me at some point when you have a little bit more time, I'd love to elaborate on this conversation that we've had within this limited time.
Come back on anytime you guys need us. We're happy to come on and talk about our products and, you know, talk to your consumers and your listeners out there about them. So anytime you guys need us to be on, we're more than happy to be.
Sounds good. Best of luck to you guys.
Thank you
we
so
will
much.
continue the conversation. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Stogie Geeks listeners, when we come back, we're doing Sticks of the Week and a little bit more commentary. We'll take a quick break.